long nightmare.
And there's only one witness who knows the truth.
She was never on the video.
That leads police to the killer.
I'm in shock, wondering what my next step would be.
2 cases, 1 witness that never blinks and never lies. Businessman Doug Coker has been happily married to his wife Judy for 30 years. Together, they live in Henry County, Georgia, 30 miles from Atlanta.
When we found each other, it was like we had found our soulmates. He was a generous, loving, caring person. He just enjoyed life and enjoyed laughing.
The morning of March 13th, 2012, is like any other day for Doug and Judy.
We both got up, got ready for work.
I got my bag.
He had an errand to run for me.
Before getting on with a busy day,
I kissed him bye. It was like any other day.
little does Judy know, that couldn't be further from the truth. Doug and Judy are turning their considerable real estate wealth into a charitable foundation, and Doug has a meeting this morning to discuss details. Late morning, Judy calls her husband on his cell to make sure he went to the post office. But she gets no answer.
When I had not heard from him by 1 o'clock, I began to worry. This wasn't like him.
Judy calls one of Doug's close business associates.
Then I said, "Have you talked with Doug?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, I can't get him to answer the phone."
She calls other friends and family. They haven't heard from him either. She knows he had a meeting today about the charity, but she doesn't know where it was held.
All kind of thoughts going through my mind. I thought maybe, he was sick.
After several more hours without word, Judy's at the end of her rope.
We called the state patrol and hospitals, asked if there had been an accident reported.
But there's still no trace of Doug Coker.
I was getting more and more worried.
This was a very close family. This was a type of family that kept in close communications at all times.
She calls Doug's nephew, Jim, and asks him to call the police.
I need to file a report on a missing person.
Okay, how long have they been missing?
They've been missing most of the day.
How old is he or she?
67.
Male or female?
Yes, male.
What's his date of birth and name?
His name is Doug, last name Coker.
We'll get an officer out there, okay?
Detective Brock Johnson is with the Henry County Police Department.
Officers responded to her house. They gathered the information to determine whether or not it will be a critical missing person.
This means anyone who has disappeared in unusual circumstances or has a health problem.
He had some medical conditions that were of concern. I believe an aneurysm.
An aneurysm can cause death if not treated quickly. Judy is worried that Doug has fallen ill. Is he lying sick somewhere and unable to reach his phone?
We put out a bolo in our county for him. It goes out over our radios. BOLO, be on lookout.
Doug owns and operates 40 rental properties in the area.
He would fix them up and then sell them or rent them.
Could he be trapped or sick inside one of his own buildings? Officers respond to each rental address.
They could not find any sign of him.
Doug has vanished. Even more worrying, Doug's phone is no longer working.
I just felt so afraid to think about what possibly was going to be the answer.
Hours after Doug left home, Judy's friends, also worried about Doug's ill health, help with the search.
We had tremendous support from the community, There were groups that volunteered and they were organized. They searched the area.
Every minute counts. They hunt through local woodland, roads, and backcountry looking for Doug.
They started running the river, which is close by here.
We have friends with planes. They were trying to see from above if they could see his car. Maybe it had run off the road. They were not able to find any sign of it.
12 hours since Judy last saw Doug, and there is still no trace of him.
From there, the police started trying to come up with other solutions.
Police try another kind of search. They ping cell towers in the area to see which ones picked up Doug's phone on the day he disappeared. And make a discovery. Doug's cell phone was in Macon, Georgia, 57 miles from home. The cell towers show it was near a McDonald's in the center of Macon. Was Doug there? Detective Jamie Jones from the Bibb County Sheriff's Office follows up.
It was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. The McDonald's was closed. There, the employees were cleaning up.
And there isn't anyone left to question. But then he sees a witness. 3 of them, surveillance cameras, and they cover the whole restaurant. If Doug was here, it should be on video. Can these cameras solve the mystery of Doug's disappearance? Coming up, when a young mother is murdered, police are in a desperate race to find the killer, and only security cameras can help them before he strikes again. Police are on the hunt for missing businessman Doug Coker. It's been a day and a half, and Doug's wife Judy is terrified.
Your mind just never stops and you're thinking continually and you don't know really night from day. It's just one long nightmare.
Cell tower records show his phone was near a McDonald's in Macon, Georgia. It's the last trace of him since. Detective Jamie Jones pulls the restaurant security video.
Finding the surveillance footage there at McDonald's was a key clue to starting the investigation for us.
He starts the video at 9:30 a.m., eyes trained on the door into the restaurant. He watches for anyone who looks like Doug. At 11:02, 92 minutes into the video, he spots him.
Mr. Coker comes into the McDonald's restaurant. You see him walking in. He goes to the counter and orders a coffee. You get a little more excited. It is a missing person.
Now to search for any clue as to Mr. Coker's disappearance.
Steps back to a stand-up counter, puts his coffee down and gets on his cell phone. And he starts writing something down.
Jones replays the tape. He wants to see if he can make out what Doug is writing. The video is too far away. He can't tell what it is. Moments later, Doug simply walks out.
The last time they know that he is seen for certain is at that McDonald's.
This is the last known image of Doug Coker. Police wonder who called Doug, and do they know where he is? They review the footage again to note the time of the call. It's at 11:04 a.m. The call lasts 3 minutes and 20 seconds. The next step is for police to subpoena Doug's phone records to figure out who called. While they're waiting, they try to find out more about the meeting Doug skipped out on. It seems Doug was scheduled to have a meeting with a woman named Pamela Moss. She's an expert in securing grants for charitable projects. She's been working with Doug for 6 months on one project in particular.
She started talking with him about the homes that he owned and rented out and turned it into a nonprofit organization that sold these houses to underprivileged people. Mr. Coker was very kind-hearted, and he wanted to give back.
He's already put $85,000 into the project. Judy hasn't met Pam, but knows that Doug thinks highly of her.
This lady, extremely nice, soft-spoken. She goes to Bible study all the time.
We were really wanting to get in touch with Miss Moss.
When the subpoenaed phone records arrive, police cross-reference the time of the call from the surveillance video to his cell phone records. It belongs to Pamela Moss. Police need to speak to her, and she agrees to meet with a detective in a coffee shop.
He began just to ask her basic questions about where Mr. Coker was, if they met.
When he came to the McDonald's, were you already there?
No, I was late.
Did you meet him inside the restaurant?
No, he was coming out.
Pamela explained she called to say she was running late and got to the parking lot as Doug was leaving McDonald's with his cup of coffee. They spoke briefly before parting company. It's a last sighting, but police are no closer to finding Doug. Doug Coker has been missing for 4 days. With no new leads, police want to go over more details with Pam. If the call was about her running late, what was Doug writing down?
You wasn't answering her phone. You start looking harder, trying to find clues or answers to questions and so forth of trying to find her.
But she's gone missing. Police search for any friends or family who know where she could be.
They find that she has a sister.
A half-sister named Carolyn.
The police had called me and just wanted to talk with Pam. But I told myself, well, I haven't seen Pam. But I talk with her every day. Sometimes, several times a day.
Now she appears to be gone without a trace. Police now have 2 missing persons, Doug Coker and his charity partner, Pamela Moss. Are they together, or has their business deal gone sour? Detective Jones checks out her address.
She was not at home.
Just as he's about to leave, something catches his eye.
The receipt, for some reason, had blown out into the grass.
The receipt is a Kroger receipt, and Kroger is a local chain for grocery stores.
And on the receipt, it's dated the time that she was in the store.
12:45 p.m. on March 14th, the day after Doug's disappearance. What could it mean? The detective is sure of one thing. A large store like Kroger uses surveillance technology. Maybe the store video will shed some light on this increasingly strange case.
The best time to get surveillance videos is as quick as you find out they may exist, because oftentimes they are quickly taped over.
Detectives pull up the footage from the first camera a few minutes before the timestamp on the receipt. And there she is. The camera captures Pamela Moss walking into the store with a shopping cart.
The surveillance footage at the Kroger grocery store shows a time frame of where she was and what all she bought.
There are several cameras throughout the store. They will show Detective Jones exactly what Pamela Moss was buying.
She bought chicken salad and some small Tupperware containers.
In other words, a very ordinary store run. This doesn't look like someone who has run away with Doug Coker. Police see if they can spot Doug too. He's not there. It's not much of a lead until police notice what she buys next.
She purchases a couple bottles of bleach, and she also purchases some of the yellow gloves that people use to clean with.
This isn't sinister. But with Doug Coker missing and now Pamela Moss vanished, Detective Jones is on high alert for even the smallest clues.
Of course, the Clorox bottles being cleaning products, wanting to hide something or clean up.
Thanks to the surveillance video, he has 2 time points for Pamela Moss. When she called Doug Coker at McDonald's, and when she is at Kroger. But what was she doing in between? Pamela has more questions to answer. Detective Jones heads to her home. When he gets there, it's plunged in darkness. Up next, detectives in California track down a cold-hearted killer from clues found on security cameras. Doug Coker has been missing for 5 days. Police used surveillance video to place him at a McDonald's. He hasn't been seen since. Now, his business associate Pamela Moss has also gone missing. But Detective Jones has a bad feeling about it and returns to her house to investigate.
All the lights were out. Shine my flashlight in there. We're talking 11:30 at night. You're wondering about your own safety. Very scary. Approached the house, shining my light to see if I could see her in there. Could not see or find anything. Went around the back of the house. I could smell a strong, foul odor.
Any policeman knows what that smell means. It's a dead body. He's found Doug Coker.
I knew it was him from clothing description. So I'm in shock.
He needs backup. And now.
Mrs. Jones, I need backup.
Officers arrive quickly, ready to enter the building, when suddenly there is movement in the house.
The light come on upstairs, then go off, then one would come on downstairs.
Guns drawn, they approach the house cautiously. As they get closer, a new smell hits them.
You could smell it, real strong odor coming around from windows and the doors.
The smell is the thick stench of natural gas.
It was burning my eyes. You could actually hear it running through the fireplace.
There's no one home. But officers do notice something strange. The living room lights are fixed to timers. It's a crude attempt at sabotage.
She wanted the light to come on and ignite the gas that she had left on inside the house to burn the house down.
If the gas was to blow the house up, it meant Pamela Moss wanted to destroy the evidence. So what else is she trying to hide?
Today's Monday, March 19th, 2012. We're here to serve a search warrant. This is in reference to a murder investigation. Quick look up under it. Reveal what we believe may be blood stains in the carpet. Large area staining here.
And they find the same cleaning products Pam was seen buying on the tape.
Over here on the counter, a bottle of Clorox Ultimate Clear bleach sitting out on the counter.
And the murder weapon. Police officers head to the Coker house to let Judy know the search for her husband has come to a terrible end.
It wasn't over. It was like only beginning as far as all of the heartbreak and devastation that you feel when you lose someone like that.
Meanwhile, Detective Jones gets a call from the local hospital. Pamela Moss has been admitted after attempting suicide. Police arrest her. She pleads insanity, but it's all an act. It was a scam all along. She knew Doug Coker was a wealthy local businessman, and her plan was to defraud him.
He realized that she had lied about everything that she had proposed to do.
Fearing Doug was onto her, Pamela Moss called him at the McDonald's. and arranged for him to come to her home.
System? What? Look, I have no idea what it is you think you're trying to do.
Mr. Coker was struck in the back of the head 3 times.
When police arrest her, they discover she used to be called Pamela Fry and had murdered her mother for the inheritance. Pamela Moss was a serial scammer and now a serial killer.
I think that the only appropriate sentence for her is that she never be allowed into society again.
I don't want her to ever be free again.
Pamela Moss is sentenced to life in prison without parole. Cameras have brought justice to Doug Coker's family. Meanwhile, 2,000 miles away, video is rolling on the fringes of another crime. Oxnard, Southern California. Detective Mike Young is getting ready for work.
You first.
I received a call about 6 in the morning.
When the phone rings this early, it's never good news.
Hello.
A woman's been found murdered, and Young has been assigned to lead the investigation.
She was only partially clothed. Her pants and shoes and sweater had been removed. Her shirt was pulled up partially over her breasts. Her panties were pulled down. In the first few minutes, and you're looking at the crime scene, you get a real good feel for potentially what happened, especially in a case like this.
As soon as detectives were on scene, they immediately had suspicions that this was a sexual assault.
It also appears she was strangled with some sort of ligature. As investigators begin processing the scene for evidence, Detective Young discovers the possible murder weapon.
There was a piece of gauze that was tied to the chain link fence.
It had been twisted up and looked like it had broken.
And it's stained in blood. What it means, investigators have no idea, but hopefully it contains some lead on the killer.
In my opinion, at that point, it had to be someone who was a sexual deviant and who obviously had some serious sexual or anger issues.
I often think about how terrified the victim may have been in her last moments.
But before detectives can go searching for the killer, they need to figure out who the victim is.
She had no identification on her.
As her hands are sealed to preserve forensic evidence, Detective Young notices a possible clue.
She had what appeared to be a real recent laceration on her right hand that had some stitches in it.
Which means she's had a recent trip to the emergency room.
So I contacted the local hospitals.
And one of them thinks they know who the victim is. A 23-year-old woman who came in a few nights earlier. Lorena Gonzalez. Now Detective Young must notify her family.
That's the worst part of the job.
I heard a knock at the door. As I went to go to the front door, I saw 2 detectives there. And the first thing my mom said was, "What'd she do now?" Just because in her younger years, she was in trouble with the police.
Asked her, if her daughter was Lorena, and she said that she was, and I told her that her daughter had been found deceased this morning.
No,
She just started crying hysterically, saying, no, it's not, this isn't real. She just kept saying, "My baby."
It was one of the few notifications that I don't think I'll ever forget. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how it was terrible. You really, really, really felt for her mom.
There's nothing you could say. It's just, what am I gonna say? Just, tomorrow's gonna be a better day. It's gonna be easy. It's not.
To make matters worse, Lorena was a single mom to 2 young girls.
My mom kept saying, the kids. She didn't care anything else. She just wanted to be there for them because Even though she lost a daughter, they lost their mother, who was supposed to raise them, guide them, and show them life lessons to help them out.
Being a father myself, it's hard to fathom.
Detective Young learns that Lorena had got into trouble with the law as a teenager. But she'd worked hard to get her life back on track when it was all cut brutally short.
So there's that part of this story that I think really drove us as a unit to try and find out who was responsible for this.
Young asks the family if she had any enemies or a jealous ex, but nothing comes up. He tries to piece together her last known movements.
Identifying who she was with the previous night would be extremely helpful. They're going to be an extremely critical witness who may have either witnessed a crime or provide us with information as to who the victim was with or saw or left with right before their death.
When was the last time?
Young asks family members if any of them knew where Lorena had been.
We conducted an interview with Lorena's niece. She informed us the previous night Lorena was over at the Snooki's bar on South Oxnard Boulevard.
Snooki's is basically a strip joint where they have exotic dancers in the evening hours.
Lorena had heard they were hiring wait staff and thought it would be a good way to bring in some extra cash.
She had applied for a job there, so she was spending some time there. She was having some cocktails there.
Detective Young follows up with a visit to Snooki's. And before he even sets foot inside, he finds a potential clue. There's a witness who might have seen the victim in the hours before she was killed. Lorena Gonzalez has been found murdered in an alley in Oxnard, California, just hours after visiting a strip club called Snooki's. Detective Mike Young questions the manager, and he confirms she was there. He explains she was in the bar, chatting with a regular named Jeremy Livre. Detective Young would now like to put a face to the name. Young asks the manager to check the bar's surveillance cameras to see if they reveal the face of Lorena's companion. But there's bad news.
Because of the limited storage capacity, he made it a habit of deleting all the video in the morning from the previous night.
Everything that the camera saw the night before has already been wiped clean. It is a huge blow to the investigation.
It's extremely frustrating.
Now he's got nothing, and the clock is ticking.
It was a genuine worry because it's been my experience that people who have sexual deviant behavior oftentimes are repetitive offenders.
Desperate to help, the manager tries to retrieve the wiped video. It doesn't work. But then he does find something else that can help.
He found some still images from 2 nights prior, which had actually recorded one of the people that he thought Lorena had been with.
The still frame shows a man entering Snooki's. It is Jeremy Livre.
He said that he believed that the individual lived in the Gateway apartment complex adjacent to the bar. The fact that he was known to be with her in the hours that led up to her death certainly made him a person of interest at a minimum.
Detective Young investigates.
As I was walking from the bar, a person who closely resembled the person in the picture was actually standing out in front of the apartment complex.
It is Jeremy, and he readily admits to being at the bar with Lorena the night before.
He said that he was trying to teach her how to play pool, and he was having some beers with her.
Jeremy says another man was with them, and that the 3 of them left the bar, went to a liquor store, then back to Jeremy's apartment, where they partied till after midnight.
The guy didn't have a place to stay, and Jeremy had invited him to spend the night at his apartment.
But Jeremy says both the man and Lorena left before 1 a.m. Detective Young needs to verify Jeremy's story. Is he lying to cover his own tracks? First stop, the liquor store.
We collected video from the liquor store that's adjacent to the bar.
He looks through hours of footage, but the images are poor. Eventually, he sees Lorena.
She was in and out of the liquor store that's adjacent to the bar a couple of times.
And Jeremy.
There was video surveillance, I believe, of Jeremy inside the store.
At 10:30 p.m., he finally sees what he's looking for. Lorena and Jeremy, together. She buys some candy. He buys some beer. If there is a third man with them, he doesn't appear on camera. Does Jeremy have something more to hide? Young heads for Jeremy's apartment building and spots something that could help in the investigation. More surveillance cameras. He asks the manager to pull the video.
Sometimes it's extremely helpful, but then you always fear that the recording device wasn't working or it's an old tape system and that you can't make it out.
This time he's in luck. And Detective Young soon learns that Jeremy's been telling the truth.
So we're able to see that Jeremy, Lorena, and the unknown male, all three come into the apartment complex together.
There is a mystery man, but it's hard to make out his face.
The quality of the video was okay. I don't think that it was good enough to where if you looked at it and then you looked at a picture of the person, you could definitively say that that's him.
But he is wearing a distinctive camouflage outfit. Just before midnight, he, Lorena, and Jeremy head into the apartment. 20 minutes later, he steps out.
The unknown male actually went down to the laundry room area of the apartment complex.
Then he does something really odd. Using what looks like a broom handle to wedge the door. But why? It looks like he's trying to keep it open so he can get back in the building.
This door was equipped with an alarm type device that would alert if the door was left open for any period of time. So we're drawing the conclusion that the alarm actually was audible and went off. So he didn't keep the door open.
Suspicious indeed. The man then returns to the apartment until 12:46, when Jeremy says the party ended.
The unknown male and Lorena are recorded walking out of the apartment complex together. There's nothing too telling about their body language other than the fact that it appears that Lorena left the apartment with the unknown male voluntarily.
It's surreal. You look at the video and you see a young woman who has no clue that minutes from that moment, she'll be fighting for her life and will die.
It's a very powerful image and it makes you realize that you never know what the next moment of your life is really going to bring.
It's my belief that she was killed shortly after that video was recorded.
Investigators suspect the man in the camouflage jacket is a sexual predator and cold-blooded killer. Will they catch him before he goes hunting again?
In the morning, what we didn't know was where she was from 12:45 in the morning until 5:30 in the morning when we were called.
All they have is a picture of an unknown man on a surveillance camera.
We didn't know who he was, but we had images of him.
And they know what happened to Lorena next. Sexually assaulted and strangled to death.
Strangulation by ligature is relatively rare, and law enforcement always takes notice of that.
Young goes looking for any crimes with the same M.O. And he's in luck, with a man arrested a few hours after Lorena's body was discovered.
While he had been in the holding facility in the booking area of the Ventura County Jail, he had actually attempted to strangle another inmate with his shoelaces.
He became enraged and decided he had to kill.
The fact that he had attempted to strangle somebody in the jail, he certainly became a person of interest.
His name is Daniel Martinez.
In the booking photograph, he happened to be wearing the same jacket that the person that Lorena left the apartment complex with was wearing.
Not only had he tried to strangle his cellmate, he had attacked a man in the street with a bottle just hours after Lorena was murdered.
It was, just out of the Twilight Zone. When you put it all together and you realize, wow, this guy was on the killing spree. And I didn't know it. Nobody knew it.
Young is eager to see what the suspect has to say for himself.
What happened? Honestly, what happened? I don't know.
He started out initially lying, denying that he was with anyone. We got to the point that he actually admitted to having left the apartment complex with Lorena. I told him that I knew something happened in the alleyway. I asked him what happened.
What happened? Tell me. Strangle it. How did it make you feel? How did it make you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel now? You feel nothing?
He had removed the gauze, that recent laceration on her hand, had put that around her neck, and then, as he said, he finished the job.
It's disturbing, and it's tragic. She didn't have to die.
Daniel Martinez confesses to the murder of Lorena Gonzalez. He had a history of drug use and was high on methamphetamine when he killed Lorena. He is sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Knowing what he did, there's an enormous sense of relief. You're relieved that you can be able to tell the family that you've got the person that took their loved one away from them.
One person will never be out to hurt anybody else.
Now, Lorena's little brother, Lorenzo Gonzalez, is the full legal guardian of his sister's children.
I believe there's goodness that comes out of anything. I just look at my nieces and see how my family came together to try and be the best family that we can for them.
Investigators 2,000 miles apart stopped killers in their tracks, thanks to the power of surveillance video.
Having video surveillance in this case was crucial to us.
If you have video on a crime, there's a very good chance that you'll solve.
Cops have nowhere to turn.
We were dealing with dangerous dudes.
Everyone is a suspect.
Until they discover the whole crime could be caught on camera.
We see what's on the video. It's the big break.
All's quiet in April Spencer's Pensacola, Florida home. That is, until her neighbor's 11-year-old daughter runs there screaming. Something horrible's happened next door. April instinctively dials 911.
Sheriff's Department, what can I do for you? Where you at? I live next door, and the daughter came over and said the mother and father have been shot.
She was extremely fearful.
And she said they've been shot? Yes.
I was a little scared going next door, but I had to find out what was going on.
Man, I don't want you to be in any danger, okay? Okay, what's going on? They're in the bedroom, ma'am. Please come.
I don't think those images will ever leave me.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please come.
Pensacola Sheriff's Department quickly sends multiple units to the scene.
When you're headed to the scene, you're really anxious. You're just trying to prepare yourself. What is it that's going to happen? You're trying to figure it out before you even get there sometimes, without even knowing anything.
In just minutes, police are there.
When we first arrived, we see that most of our patrol units from that district are there. You know that it's serious. Right away, you know you're dealing with something that's bigger than you normally do.
Somebody's broken in using brute force.
We see the door was kicked in.
Whoever did this could still be here, lying in wait. Anxious cops sweep the house with fingers on triggers. Then, an alarming sight.
There were children spread throughout the home, and they were finding them in closets and underneath beds and in beds with covers over their head.
But what they find next only confirms their worst fears.
We see some blood, and then we notice both of the victims in the bedroom.
The kids' parents, Melanie and Bud Billings, lay lifeless, savagely gunned down in their own home.
They had been shot at point-blank range. It appeared to be an execution.
I mean, obvious. It wasn't any type of murder-suicide. Almost execution-style murder. I mean, it's pretty horrendous.
20 miles away, the Billings' eldest daughter, Ashley, gets a call from neighbor April to get home ASAP.
April was very hysterical. At that point, I had no idea what had happened. I was assuming an accident had happened, that someone had fallen, or there were so many things going through my head.
Ashley's parents are generous people who foster a large and loving family.
See the monkeys? My mom and dad were soulmates. They found each other later, in life. My dad had previous children. My mother had myself and my sister.
Once they marry, Bird and Melanie begin adopting children with special needs.
My mother felt like she could give a wonderful life to babies that had special needs, that she just felt that was her calling. And of course, my dad would do whatever she wanted, and he had that love for children also.
They fill their cheerful home with 9 boys and girls.
Bud and Melanie were the most gracious, kind-hearted people you would ever want to know, full of life, full of jokes. Everything was about laughter and fun and just living life. They were awesome.
Every time you walk in, you hear laughter and life.
Just 25 minutes later, when she arrives at her parents' house turned crime scene, Ashley knows something is terribly wrong.
A police officer stopped me. He grabbed me and he said, "You can't go in there."
How do you tell someone that their parents are dead?
I don't know what I was thinking. It was just a completely numb feeling.
For them to be taken away in that manner was absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating.
The children take refuge in April's house next door. With the scene secure, forensics teams move in, desperate to find anything that could set investigators on a killer's trail.
You have to move very quickly in homicides. The first 72 hours are critical.
Even the smallest clue could be vital.
The first few hours is about preservation of the scene, and then the collection of the evidence at the scene. We're looking for hair, physical evidence, whatever it is that you can get.
But for now, their search uncovers very little.
We didn't have any firearms to recover. They didn't leave any physical evidence except for some shell casings.
A murder weapon's fingerprint. But until they find the matching gun, the shells are useless. The break-in suggests the killer may not have known the victim at all.
Our greatest fear is the random killing. Those are the ones that almost always go unsolved, unfortunately.
In the meantime, next door, investigators talk to the children about what they saw. Clearly traumatized, they may hold the key to finding their parents' killer or killers.
Everybody okay?
We went to make contact with the kids and see who we could talk to and might not be able to talk to.
One of the children, 10-year-old Jake, was right by his parents' bedroom. The teen needs to know what he saw, so they tread lightly.
He was very, very shaken up. He had seen, everything.
But Jake has severe Down syndrome and is so distressed that he struggles to answer even the gentlest questions about what he saw.
It was just difficult knowing that they had seen this horrific type of stuff, and it was frustrating for us knowing that they couldn't help us solve it.
What police do learn, one of the Billings kids is missing. 20-year-old Justin, who lives in a trailer on the property and has been in a long-standing feud with his dad.
Everyone is a suspect that has any connection with a crime. Family members are suspect. Known associates are suspect.
Police want him to talk. And now, even while the crime scene is still being processed, they find him right where he lives, on the Billings property. But they question him at the police station, where everything goes down on videotape.
He was really, really nervous, acting really strange.
I didn't know I had to be that specific, because I don't think that's funny at all.
At that time, we just got a vibe that maybe this kid could possibly be involved.
I'm not busting your chops, man, but you gotta help us. I mean, for God's sakes, your parents just got killed.
The detectives try pinning down where Justin was at the time of the murder.
You and Greg were together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess let's start there.
Got a call from his grandparents saying, dinner's ready, come on over and eat. After we got done eating, we went back over towards Greg's parents' house. Got the call from my sister saying that I need to go back to my parents' house. Something's wrong, to get there as fast as I can.
Justin's alibi needs checking. But right now, something even more important has been discovered at the crime scene.
I don't know anything else.
Police have found a new witness. And it will change everything about this horrific murder. Bird and Melanie's home is rigged with not one, not two, but 16 surveillance cameras. For the investigators, it's a gift. Has this murder been caught on tape? The hunt for who killed parents Bird and Melanie Billings, as their 9 children hid, kicks into high gear when cops discover 16 unflinching witnesses.
We see the cameras throughout the house. It was unusual for a house to have that much surveillance inside of it. Mr. Billings had put the video throughout the entire house because of all the kids that they had with the disabilities.
If the cameras were rolling, the killings might be caught on tape.
It was a very unsettling feeling knowing that it could have happened on camera.
The video was probably going to be the most important piece of evidence we had in this case. So right away, we got our tech guys to come out to the scene and start retrieving.
Police technicians begin retrieving the video footage from all the cameras. It will take time. The only witness to the crime, the state-of-the-art surveillance system, holds hundreds of hours of footage. The vital clue could be on any of 1 million video frames. Every one must be handled with care. The well-being of 9 orphaned children hangs in the balance, as their oldest sister knows all too well.
I was in survival mode. It was very difficult to know what each of the children needed at that time. I felt like telling them everything was going to be okay. I couldn't do that because I wasn't sure myself at that time.
18 hours after the bodies are first found. While police wait for the CCTV footage to be processed, they revisit the house. Despite Ashley's fragile emotional state, she's determined to lend an eye. She joins detectives to see if she can spot anything they might have missed.
It was very, very difficult to get through that.
You're always very cognizant of dealing with a family member and what their emotional reaction is going to be. And now we're going to take you actually into the murder scene. Ashley's emotional and mental condition was very critical.
But her efforts pay off when Ashley notices two key items are missing: her dad's black briefcase and the family safe.
Ashley told us that Bud carried a tremendous amount of cash around with him. He was known to have at least $100,000 in that black briefcase at all times.
Could this be a burglary gone horribly wrong? Bird is a wealthy and well-known businessman running an all-cash business, financing cars. That explains all the cash on hand. But it's a business that attracts its share of shady characters.
They got specifically two items that should have had a sizable amount of cash in the home. That is always indicative of inside information. Someone had an association with Bird Billings to know this is what you need to do if you're going to rob this family. Ashley assisted us in all of the things that might be associated with a normal murder. Business associates. Did someone owe Bird a tremendous amount of money? Had they stolen from him? Had there been, recent blow-ups or run-ins?
Someone who fits that profile is a local used car dealer named Tom Johnson. He knows Bird and about the hoard of cash in the house.
Great, excellent.
They were very close business partners for several years. The individual got greedy and started doing things behind my dad's back. And I think that this individual just got in over his head more and more.
$60,000 I'll put in.
Tom Johnson owes Bird a lot of money from selling cars and pocketing the proceeds.
Bud was not getting his payment for the financing of the cars. He owed Bud significant amounts of money in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And when my dad finally decided to pull out, it just created a big problem for everybody. There was definitely bad blood between them.
Ashley really adamant this guy was somehow involved in their parents' murder.
Heavily in Bird's debt, Tom Johnson becomes the prime suspect, with a perfect motive for wanting him dead. Investigators waste no time getting in front of him.
We had went to the car lot to make contact with this individual.
How can I help you?
While we were interviewing him, we got a bad vibe from him. He was just real nervous, real shaky, wasn't very direct with some of his answers. There's certain demeanor that we look for. All the clues were there of him being deceptive.
But suspicion is all cops have on him. Nothing solid, for now. Meanwhile, at police headquarters, another part of the investigation has a breakthrough. The security video from the crime scene is ready for viewing. Everything rests on it. Police desperately hope it will tell them something, or Bird and Melanie's murders may never be solved. And now, the team watches for the very first time.
We really think that this video is going to help us solve this case.
And what they're seeing shocks even the most seasoned detective in the room.
It was pretty silent when we first saw it. We've dealt with murders. That was our job, and that's what we did. But we have never seen anything like this.
In Pensacola, Florida, police hunt the killers of Bird and Melanie Billings, kind-hearted parents of 9 adopted children. They get very lucky, recovering footage from 16 surveillance cameras around the house. Now the team watches it for the first time, unprepared for the shock of what they're about to witness.
Can you stop that?
They were dressed in military garb. They used military-type weapons. They looked very, very dangerous.
They count 3 masked intruders breaking into the front, and 2 more entering through the rear.
This was a simultaneous entrance from the front and the back at the same time, meant to have a tremendous shock effect on the family. And of course, obviously it worked.
Bird and Melanie are confronted in no time.
One individual gets a hold of Mr. Billings and then it shoots Mr. Billings in the leg.
As soon as Mr. Billings gets shot in the leg, looks like they have a conversation. Then they go towards the bedroom. And that's when we lose video because they didn't have a camera inside the master bedroom.
And that's where the couple are shot, at point-blank range.
They're only in the house about 4 minutes, and 2 people are dead. I think it's best described as a man's worst fear. Your home's invaded, you can't protect your family, your wife, your children, and you're helpless. And I think deep to our core as men, that's who we are and that's what we're about.
The murder may be off camera, but the video is more than enough to jumpstart the investigation.
We felt like whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing and planned on doing.
Organized crime was always a consideration because of the style of murder.
They're sick people. They're mean, evil, even.
For now, there's no way to ID the masked killers. But police seize upon the most obvious clues. 2 vehicles.
The largest piece of evidence we had was the video footage of the vehicle that was used. So finding the van was critical. We also caught a video image of a Gold Explorer, which was the vehicle that had dropped these 2 additional males off.
A red van. A Gold Explorer. If they can find the vehicle's owners, there's a good chance the lead could take them further. But without a clear shot of the license plates, the sheriff reaches out for help, releasing images to the public.
Police have now released pictures of that van and are asking the public for help in locating it.
There are lots of Gold Explorers in the area, but someone out there must recognize the distinctive red van with its custom grille.
The reach of the media is into every home.
A red van spotted on surveillance cameras.
We made sure that it was on every television screen in the local area, and so we had thousands of eyes looking for a red van.
Putting that out to the media is the quickest, fastest way that we're going to generate some type of connection between the van and the people who were driving it.
Patiently waiting for that one phone call, that critical link, is the most excruciating time for any cop.
We've got the red van out there. You're wanting the phone to ring. You're wanting that next lead to come in. Extremely frustrating to have to watch the clock tick with no additional lead.
They're a danger to the community because you don't know where they're going to strike next.
The family was very frightened, and rightfully so. They didn't know if they might be next targets. So yeah, they were scared. They were scared to death.
We feared for our lives and for the safety and the lives of the kids.
As long as those killers are on the loose and that red van on the roll, the whole family's endangered. 36 hours since the murders.
Hey, Sheriff.
We got a call from a gentleman who said, I have your van. I'm on the phone, and by the way, I'm looking at it. It's right across the street.
Now, it's a race to confirm what could be the biggest break they'll get.
You know, you have to move very quickly. We don't want the van to be destroyed. We don't want the van to be transported out of the local area.
Pensacola Sheriff's investigators catch a huge break in their search for the ominous red van that carried a team of assassins to Bird and Melanie Billings' house. When police reach the trailer park where it has been sighted, the van is still there.
We did not know what to expect upon finding the van, who might be in the home.
It's parked next to the home of an elderly man named Patrick Gonzalez.
We began to talk with Gonzalez. He was not in very good shape at all, kind of down on his luck.
Something's not right. The more they look at Gonzalez, the less he matches any of the suspects caught on camera.
Because of his health, his age, it was quite obvious that he couldn't have been one of the ones that went in the house and committed this crime.
Is that your van?
Patrick Gonzalez claims the van belongs to his son, and it's under repair and hasn't been driven in weeks.
His story was that the van didn't even run.
Gonzalez is looking like a dead end. When another tipster calls in about another red van, units rush to a local convenience store where it was sighted. Once more, security cameras are on site.
And they said, we have a video of this red van, we believe, that shows the occupants, and it was from only a few days before.
The surveillance video gives police a clear shot of the driver, someone who looks familiar. It's the old man, Patrick Gonzalez. He's got some explaining to do. And he'll do it on camera.
We presented him with the video evidence. Here is this van with your image at this particular convenience store. Would you like to now tell us the truth? And that's when fear became evident in him.
To the team's surprise, their promise of limited immunity gets Gonzalez to open up. And what he tells investigators doesn't disappoint.
You pull in the driveway, what happens?
Everybody jumps in, doors kicking open. Freeze on the ground. And that's all I thought it was. We get down in the yard, doors open, I think everything's going fine, and all of a sudden, and I'm hoping they're just shooting in the ceiling or something, kind of trying to scare the hell out of somebody.
Gonzalez insists he was just the getaway driver, and that he never went inside the house. And then he fingers two accomplices.
Wayne was there. Patrick was there.
The names that he gave again were his son, Patrick Gonzalez Jr., and Wayne Coldiron.
Coldiron and Gonzalez Jr. There's more. Gonzalez Sr. tells police his son, Patrick Jr., has actually been inside the Billings house on a construction job. So he knows the layout and possibly about where the cash is kept. But Patrick Gonzalez Sr.'s already lied to police about the van being under repair. Why would he tell the truth now? By accusing his son, he might just be concocting the perfect out.
The worst thing you could have is to have your whole case built around one person, Gonzalez Sr., who had a troubled past, to say the least. We had a father implicating his son. We know that that's probably one of the weakest kinds of evidence. You grab Coldiron and Gonzalez Jr. and you bring them in to try to get them to confess.
You're a suspect in this right now. That's what we're sitting here trying to tell you from the get-go. We're trying to eliminate you.
But instead of a confession, they get a yarn that turns his dad's story on its head.
Thursday, what were you doing?
That was the day that he got all pissed off at me. So
Your dad did?
Mhm.
Why?
Because he gets to bed at like 6, and I got there a little bit later than what he wanted me to get there.
What'd you do after that?
I think I had Bird, chatted with him for a while. He's got some serious issues. So don't take anything he says to, oh my God, this guy's a suspect, because he's just, the guy's got brain damage. You know that. I mean, I don't know if y'all know that. You will know that. But he's got brain damage.
He took a position of complete and total deniability. accused us of having browbeaten an old alcoholic man into saying things that were not true?
First of all, he didn't do that. I know my dad. He's not capable of that. For that matter, I'm not capable of what happened there. I'm not capable of that.
Gonzalez Jr. was arrogant, a very superior attitude, an attitude of I'm the smartest man in the room.
Right on camera, Patrick Gonzalez Jr. shrugs off every allegation against him. Cold Iron denies it all too.
Both Cold Iron and Gonzalez Jr. are denying any involvement, and all we have now is one witness that says, no, these folks were involved. We didn't have sufficient amount of evidence to secure an arrest warrant at that point. So therefore, we had to allow them to leave. The break that we need is for someone to start telling us the truth.
40 hours since the brutal crime went down. 3 suspects. 2 denials. Only hard evidence can decide who is telling the truth. Pressure from the bereaved family grows with every passing hour.
I wanted answers. I don't understand why. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know how.
So do police. They execute a search warrant at Gonzalez Sr.'s trailer.
The house is not in the best shape, dirty, mainly.
Still, there's one thing that looks neat and tucked in.
So the sergeant sees this shoebox that appears to be new and in excellent condition. For whatever reason, he felt that it was out of place.
The shoebox is empty. But officers are very interested in what it once contained.
This shoebox held some black military boots.
Police take a second look at the crime scene video. This time, they're looking for something very specific. Footwear. And find it. The masked gunmen were wearing black boots. Is it just a coincidence?
I'm like, I think this shoebox probably came from Walmart. I bet we can take that to Walmart, because their security is so excellent. Stand that toe, and I bet you they can tell us exactly when it was bought.
It's just a hunch, but worth the price of admission.
They are able to tell us exactly what time the box was bought.
And they have security video of the moment the boots were purchased.
They started helping us retrieve video. When we start viewing it, we see Patrick Gonzalez purchase the boots.
That's him.
Who was he with? The store has the parking lot covered with video as well.
In the parking lot, we see him Ford Explorer, and we're like, wait just a second.
A gold Explorer. Is it the one they're looking for? It gets even better. Rewinding the store footage, investigators spot Gonzalez Jr. talking to 2 men who arrived at the store in a gold Explorer. It's just like the one seen at the Billings compound. The time, just 4 hours before the Billings were shot.
They basically leave together with the Gold Explorer and Patrick Gonzalez in his car.
We start getting excited. We feel like we're onto something, and we may be starting to put this thing together.
It's the first piece of hard evidence linking Gonzalez Jr. to the murders. He's now tied to both vehicles at the murder scene. But with 5 intruders and 2 drivers in the security footage, and only 3 suspects, police still have armed and dangerous to-dos to check off their list.
The noose was tightening on these folks. We've got numbers of individuals in the house. Video surveillance of the gold Ford Explorer now. But we still do not have a complete picture. And then literally a bolt from the blue. 2 young black males turned themselves in. We don't know what they had done and what they played in the case.
While 9 grieving children lay their parents to rest, investigators get a break that might just wrap their killer's roundup. 2 young men claim to have information about Bird and Melanie Billings' murder.
Rakeem Florence is a juvenile. Frederick Thornton, he was 19 at the time. Frederick Thornton was a friend with Rakeem for a number of years. They are out of work. They're not in school. They have come into the sheriff's office after discussions with their family.
Again, the interviews are on police cameras for evidence. And it's must-see TV.
I was scared, you know what I'm saying, until my mom came to me like, you just gotta break it down to him and tell him the truth.
And the truth seems to come firsthand. Because they were there for the Billings murders. The target, Bird Billings' briefcase and safe full of cash.
Is it still light outside? Yeah, it's light outside. It ain't dark, you know what I'm saying?
They were the 2 individuals that entered through the laundry room and kitchen area. And they had been integrally involved in the robbery and the murder.
Pat had shown y'all pictures of the house. Do you remember how many pictures of the house he had? 4 or 5 of them.
So they told a complete story from beginning to end. We now knew the sequence of events inside the home, and even that which was not covered by video surveillance. And they each corroborated each other's story.
Do you recognize anybody there by the name of Pat?
Frederick and Rakeem are working for Patrick Gonzalez Jr.'s friend at an auto shop when he recruits them.
Florence and Thornton both describe Patrick Gonzalez Jr. as being the mastermind, the boss, the leader.
You worked for him or with him on this deal, this robbery.
Gonzalez Jr. knows about a house with lots of cash, and he knows where it's kept. He promises each a share of the spoils.
You said, as I recall, that you can get like 100,000. They're supposed to be like $13 million, right? Where did he say this money was going to be kept at?
He said it was a vault.
A vault?
Patrick Gonzalez Jr. talks about robbing a person in Pensacola. He says that this man has millions of dollars and that they can rob this guy and make a lot of money.
So now this mosaic starts to take a form, and a picture begins to form.
Investigators hear that Gonzalez Jr. meticulously plans every aspect of the break-in with military precision.
They trained together for 30 days. Patrick was former National Guardsman, had a little bit of infantry knowledge. They also practiced at Gonzalez Sr.'s house on how to enter a back door and a front door at the same time.
Let's go inside door, front door.
And the entry into the Billings home was just that, within seconds.
Let's try it again.
On July 9th, the gang locks and loads, ready for action. The military arsenal is bone-chilling.
They got guns? Yeah. Who had guns? Everybody.
Guns that match the shell casings found at the scene.
So they're all armed and ready to go. Rakeem Florence kicks that door in. They come in through that side door. They immediately see Mr. and Mrs. Billings.
You stay where you are!
Gonzalez Jr. makes a beeline for Bird Billings,
Where is the money?
then shoots him in the legs.
Oh, damn it! Tight him up! Let me go. Look at me! Where's this safe?
As the children scatter and hide,
I'm in the safe!
Gonzalez executes their parents.
Get the safe now!
The invaders take Bird's briefcase and safe and make their escape. As they drive away, Gonzalez threatens the rest of the crew.
I killed him. He was like, if anyone of y'all says something, I'm going to kill y'all and your family.
Their involvement and confessions was the last domino that we needed to tip over to bring the rest of the dominoes down.
Anything else you can remember? That's it.
Police take down Gonzalez Jr. and his cohorts 8 in all, to the immense relief of the Billings family.
I asked you if there was anything that I could do for you, and your response back to me was, Sheriff, find the people who did this. It is my honor today to tell you, Ashley, and your family, we have found them, and they are in custody.
Once the sheriff told us that all 8 people had been arrested, that was definitely a sense of relief.
It's a case that would never have been solved without alert police, armed with video surveillance, in stores, police stations, and in the Billings home. It was proof waiting to be discovered.
The videotapes were so critical in solving this case. It tied all of this disparate group of characters together.
On October 28, 2010, after a 4-day trial, Patrick Gonzalez Jr. is found guilty on 2 counts of murder and armed home invasion robbery.
A majority of the jury, by a vote of 10-2, advise and recommend to the court that it impose the death penalty upon Leonard Patrick Gonzalez Jr.
Today, he sits on Florida's death row. The other 7 are convicted as accessories and sentenced to a combined 200 years behind bars.
I do have a sense of closure because I feel like the person responsible for shooting my parents.
Pure hell. And police aren't faring much better.
It's my responsibility to find her, one way or another.
Until they discover, perhaps the most reliable witness of all.
I was looking in the true face of sheer evil.
All's quiet in the small town of Star City. 16-year-old Skylar Neese arrives home, beat after finishing a late shift at a local diner.
She came in and she said, I think I'm going to bed, Mom. I'm tired. And she gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I said, well, we love you, honey. Good night.
The next day, Skylar's dad, Dave Neese, gets home from his night shift to lend his daughter the car.
I came home from break and I knocked on her door.
Skylar, come on, wake up.
And I said, Skylar, honey, I said, it's Daddy. I said, you're going to have to get ready and take me back to work if you want the car. And I didn't get an answer.
Skylar, wake up.
The door was locked.
Skylar, come on.
I got a coat hanger and popped open the door.
Skylar, we gotta go. Come on. Skylar.
But Skylar's bedroom is empty. Something's not right.
Skylar?
Her bed hadn't been slept in. So I started getting really worried. I called Mary at work and said, do you know where Skylar is? And she said, no.
Her bed is still made.
But Mary's not as concerned.
No, I don't know.
I said, just calm down. We'll find her. She was always at her friend's house or birthday parties galore. So I told Dave, call some of her friends, see if she's with them. Maybe they went shopping or swimming.
Skylar's best friend is Sheila Eddy.
I asked Sheila, have you seen Skylar? She said, no.
No.
I said, when's the last time you talked to her? She said, midnight last night. I said, wow. I said, okay.
She's not here.
I said, I'm getting kind of worried I can't find her anywhere.
A high achiever and loving daughter, Skylar's their pride and joy.
Skylar was spoiled rotten. Me and Skylar used to have one day where Mom had to work and I didn't, and we called it Skylar Daddy Day, and we could do whatever she wanted.
As their only child, Skylar is devoted to her parents.
A lot of kids blow their parents off. I don't have time for Mom now or Dad now. Skylar never did that. She told us every day she loved us. So then I went out on a porch to have a cigarette, and I looked down over the porch, and I noticed this little black bench. It was a little makeup bench. And I said, that's Skylar's. Then I saw her window had been open. The screen was out of the window. And I said, oh no, she snuck out last night.
This isn't the first time Skylar's rebelled.
The curfew is 11 o'clock in Star City. We try and prevent anyone going to parties or underage drinking to prevent accidents from happening. For that reason, teenagers sneak out sometimes.
No big deal for Skylar and her old friend, Morgan.
There's a lot of people that
do it. It's just, I wanted to go on a ride with my friend at midnight, and mom's not going to say yes to that.
When she hears the news, Mary's not panicked. She heads home to reassure Dave and devise a plan.
She liked going to work even if she was sick. So I told Dave, she's due at work at 4 o'clock. If she doesn't show up, we'll give her to 4 o'clock.
6 hours pass without a word. They can only pray Skylar's about to show up at her job.
Well, about 10 minutes before we called the fast food place to ask them if Skylar was there, they called us and said, "Is Skylar coming to work today?"
And at that point, I knew something was bad wrong.
I called 911, and I said, "My 16-year-old daughter's missing. We can't find her anywhere. I need some help."
Star City Police jump on the call, even though a vast majority of missing teens are false alarms.
If they leave on a Friday, they're usually home by Monday. They just want to go have fun over the weekend when their parents won't let them, and then they come home.
But in this small town, police are happy to help worried parents. They start looking around Skylar's bedroom.
The very first thing spotted was her cell phone charger. Well, teenagers, you gotta have your charger, you gotta have your phone. Her contacts were still there. Her toothbrush, no change of clothes, nothing was missing. If she had run away, she would have taken something.
Police see it all the time, but Skylar's parents know that this is anything but every day. Fearing the worst, they look to neighbors for help.
We went block by block, house by house down the blocks and knocked on doors. Had anyone seen or heard anything? Nothing came up.
Star City is a very small town, very small. And it's a very sleepy town is what I like to call it. There's not a whole lot that goes on that people don't know about. So it was difficult whenever everyone's like, "I haven't seen anything at all."
There's got to be some explanation. Someone must know something. And right on cue,
Hello, Skylar?
it's Skylar's best friend, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
She said, "Mary, I have to tell you the truth." I said, "The truth? What do you mean the truth?" She said, "Skylar and Rachel and I snuck out last night."
It backs up what they already suspected.
I said, "Well, where is Skylar? Where did you leave her at?" My initial thought was they had taken her somewhere. She spent the night with one of her friends. Then she went on to say when they came home, Skylar demanded that she stop at the end of the block, let her out of the car, and she would walk to the house because she didn't want us knowing that she had snuck out. She didn't want us hearing her come in.
Sheila says she dropped off Skylar sometime around 11:45 p.m. and none of the friends has seen her in the 18 hours since.
My fear was if Sheila had let her out at the end of the block, who snatched her up between point A and point B.
It was a mess. Mary was a mess. We had a 16-year-old girl missing. Nobody knew where she was.
I was sure she had been abducted. I was terrified.
It's every parent's worst nightmare. Sheila now comes to the niece home, anxious to help in any way she can.
So I said, "Sheila, are you sure you don't know where Skylar's at?" She said, "I'm positive." Well, the Star City police officer added, "Young lady, if you're lying, you're in so much trouble." And she said, "I'm not lying." I said, "Okay."
Just as panic's about to set in, Skylar's mom channels her inner sleuth.
I remembered we have security cameras. So I told Dave, I said, "Well, let's call the landlord. Let's check the security cameras."
If luck's on their side, Skylar's last known whereabouts could be etched on videotape. But by a stroke of luck, neighborhood surveillance cameras might have gotten it all on tape. The parking lot camera runs 24/7. It's their best hope.
We watched the video footage. We watched and watched and watched, and it was a normal runtime, so it took forever.
Just as Dave, Mary, and Skylar's friend Sheila are beginning to lose hope, at around 12:30, a car pulls up outside the apartment building.
It was very blurry. It was dark. It was late at night, and they parked behind the building. So it was all in shadow. Dave said, well, is that you? Is that where you guys picked her up at? Sheila said no. They had picked her up closer to our parking area by the mailboxes. She said they had picked her up around 11 o'clock, and they went for their drive.
They went for a joyride just to hang out for a little bit, smoke a little marijuana, and then they all went home.
So the video shows something no one expected. 45 minutes later, at 12:30, a car appears outside the apartment building. Then,
That's her.
We
That's
saw
Skylar.
Skylar's head bob up.
That's my girl.
Again, she just kind of like appeared in the shot. She walked down to the car and got in. I was kind of relieved to know she was leaving with a friend of hers or something.
Detective Jessica Colbank studies the surveillance, dissecting every tiny detail.
You see a sedan pull down the road into their basically driveway between the two apartment buildings. And you see Skylar kind of running across the parking lot to the vehicle, and she got in the back seat of the vehicle. And they left.
But investigators' first real lead isn't just Skylar, it's her behavior.
She was practically running to this car, so we knew it was someone that she knew.
This is no abduction. Has Skylar niece run away with someone she knows?
It's always a possibility because something's going on at home life, or they have a secret boyfriend, or anything like that.
24 hours since Skylar was last sighted. And even with their big piece of evidence, police are stalled. If only the images weren't so blurry.
The only thing we know, it's a light-colored four-door sedan. We couldn't get a clear view of the license plate. We couldn't tell the make, model, color even. The only fact that we could prove at the time was that she willingly got in that vehicle. That was the last known event that can be documented. So that's what we have to go off of.
As 24 hours turns into 48, no further leads emerge.
We're frantic every day that passes and another day that we haven't found her, that our baby's missing, and we're mad, we're upset, we're tired. It was horrible. It was pure hell.
We just need to know what's happening. It appeared everything had stopped. The local police saw her getting into the car willingly. That was it. She was a runaway. Well, we just felt they were doing nothing.
And that was really hard for me to not have any answers for any question they had other than Skylar's still missing. I don't know where she's at.
Desperate for clues, Dave and Mary continue reaching out to their community.
I created my own webpage called Team Skylar. I wanted support. I wanted the local media to get the news out. I wanted her picture in the paper every day. I wanted Skylar's face to be noticed.
We couldn't keep enough flyers of Skylar's pictures. People were distributing them all around town. Skylar's missing. Has anyone heard from her? Anyone know where she might be? And it went crazy.
I remember seeing things about her missing and getting text messages from people. I remember the first probably like 3 or 4 days, that was all I could really think about.
To stave off constant doubt, Sheila steps up as an emotional rock for her best friend's parents.
Sheila was there at our house just about every day. And she was very supportive. She told us it's going to be okay. She'll be back. I know she will.
I don't really want to do it. I have like no idea.
Sheila and Skylar called themselves best friends from the time they were 8 years old till she was 16.
Oh, wait.
No, they would laugh and giggle 24/7 on the phone if we would let them. Yeah, they seemed to love spending time together.
Freshman year, a new girl in town, Rachel, joins the Skylar-Sheila duo, and the three become inseparable.
It really wasn't until Rachel and Sheila that you sort of saw things start to change. They became joined at the hip almost. I mean, it was no longer Skylar. It was Skylar, Rachel, and Sheila.
Hey guys, what's up? What are you guys up to?
I mean, they didn't do anything without the other two.
We're gonna skip forward.
Really?
You're gonna skip with us.
I would love
Together,
to.
the trio cultivates a rowdy reputation.
There was always drinking and partying and that kind of stuff going on. It didn't seem like it was ever we went to the movies. Like a normal freshman.
But now Rachel, too, isn't around. She's miles away at church camp south of town. And as the days pass, with still no sign of Skylar, Sheila begins falling apart at the seams.
Sheila at one point came to our house and she said, "Can I go back and sit in Skylar's room for a minute?"
So she went back there and she was gone for a long time. Something's wrong. She's very upset. So I went in. I said, "Are you okay?"
And she said, "I don't see why she could have left me. I don't see why she did this."
4 days since Skylar vanished. Meantime, Dave and Mary's media blitz kicks into high gear.
The local news reported that there was a teen missing. Facebook is like wildfire. It spread internationally.
The Star City police had called and said, "Hey, we got a sighting in North Carolina where the woman is positive it's Skylar. She's with a red-haired girl."
All the hard work might finally be paying off. If Skylar's been seen with a red-haired girl, it could be Rachel.
At the time, Rachel was at church camp. So it was always a possibility that Rachel skipped church camp to run off to the beach with Skylar, just to get away.
We were sure it was her. They were sure it was her.
It's the news the family has been praying for.
We just knew we were going to bring her home.
In a small West Virginia town, police hunt for 16-year-old runaway Skylar Neese. Last seen on security camera, getting willingly into a car in the middle of the night. All their leads go nowhere. Until now. Skylar and her friend Rachel may have been sighted 600 miles away in North Carolina.
Dave and I, as soon as we heard it, we were leaving. We were headed to bring her home. That was the best news we had had from the very beginning.
We didn't know what the reason was, but, they ran off and they were looking for a place to stay.
Just as the anxious parents are about to hit the road, Detective Colbank gets a call from dispatch.
Officer Colbank, you got a code 149, that's a negative. Repeat, that's a negative.
I sat in my car for a minute. It was hard.
It wasn't Skylar, it wasn't Rachel. They were two runaways, but it wasn't them.
So that was like kicked us in the heart really hard because, if that wasn't her, then she's still missing. She's still out there somewhere.
The search for Skylar Neese is back to square one.
That was hard for me to be able to go home to my family and know that there is someone missing out there and their family misses them, and it's my responsibility to find her one way or another.
2 months since Skylar was last seen. Skylar's disappearance generates a flood of small-town gossip and speculation. As cops follow up on every story, Skylar's good girl reputation starts taking hits.
There were rumors that Skylar had a secret boyfriend that her parents didn't know about because he was a lot of trouble. He was a troublemaker.
If this rumor's true, tracking down the boyfriend could lead them straight to Skylar. But police need a name. Skylar's classmates help detectives draw up a list of her close male friends. And 2 names keep popping up. 20-year-old Dylan Conaway and his older brother Derek, who live in nearby Blacksville. Schoolmates report that Skylar and Rachel like to party with them.
The 2 brothers had a bit of a sketchy past and were known to throw parties and have underage girls there, which Sheila, Rachel, and Skylar had attended.
To find out more about the Conways, Detective Colbank gets the state police on board.
I'll just mention the name and they're like, funny you bring that up. They're people of interest in a case and we're working.
Around the same time that Skylar vanished, a bank in Blacksville, West Virginia is robbed, and the crime is caught by surveillance.
The male subject had entered the bank carrying a firearm. He obtained a substantial amount of cash, and then they fled on foot.
The video helps cops build a profile of the perpetrator. Their prime suspects? The Conaway brothers. What if Skylar's involved with a couple of bank robbers?
Myself and Trooper Barry drove up to the residence to do what we call knock and talk.
Once we pulled in to the Conway's residence, we saw Derek Conway in the backyard digging holes.
So I just jokingly said, what are you doing trying to bury a body?
And the expression that Derek gave us was the deer in the headlight. I just saw a ghost look. Very odd, very weird. We're trying to find out who they hung out with, who were they dating, who were they cheating on.
Beyond that, police have nothing on them. But now there's a link to Skylar's case.
Officer Jessica Colbank from Star City Police told us this guy that you're looking at for the bank robbery could very well possibly be involved in Skylar Niece's disappearance.
I remember Ronnie calling me up and saying, "Did you remember hearing about that Skylar Niece girl?" Well, the girls that she's friends with know the Conways. Sheila Eddy and Dylan Conway, the younger brother, actually dated. We then started finding pictures of Sheila, Skylar, and Dylan Conway together.
Social networking sites offer a peek into the Conways' lives.
We found out the brothers were into a lot of different types of drugs. They want to give the females hardcore drugs, to get them loosened up.
Police speculate Skylar could be one of those females, hanging with this shady crowd.
So we shifted from bank robbery to, okay, let's find Skylar because there might be a connection now.
Then detectives catch a break. They hear a new piece of gossip that could explain why Skylar snuck out the night of July 5th.
We were getting anonymous tips, calls in the office. People were telling us, hey, there was a party in Blacksville. There was pills, there was heroin, marijuana, and allegedly Skylar Niece was at one of these parties on the night she disappeared. So we thought, okay, maybe one of these guys out in Blacksville were the ones that picked her up after Sheila had dropped her off, and they drove her to this party.
You good?
But even if Skylar did show up at the party, no one is talking.
Somebody's eventually going to call us and tell us, hey, I was at this party. This is what I saw. But as time went on, nobody called us. We just could not figure out why is nobody coming forward and why is nobody telling us where Skylar's at, what happened.
Police pay Skylar's friend Rachel a visit. She's just returned from church camp, but something's not right.
Rachel was very nervous. I knew she knew something. Something happened at this party and someone else did something to Skylar. They know something. It's just they're too afraid to tell us.
Is there anything else you can remember from that night? Anything she said? Anyone she talked to, maybe? No.
Rachel denies ever driving to Blacksville or going to a party with Skylar on the night she disappeared.
What time did you drop her off?
11:30.
11:30, you sure? Yeah. Okay.
Everybody knows who Skylar's friends were, who she was hanging out with, and nobody can tell me who this car is. To me, it was bull. Why can't nobody tell us who owns this vehicle?
To find the car, police trace the driving route from Star City to Blacksville. If Skylar did go to this party, she most likely came this way. Along the route are dozens of shops and gas stations. Police focus on a new store. Maybe the upgrade also came with security cameras?
Sheetz was a newly constructed convenience store, hadn't been there very long.
Let's just go down and take a peek and see what we got.
Maybe we'll be able to pick up something of this car to get a general idea, okay, which direction, did the car go? We talked to the store manager.
It's a hit. The store has cameras installed, and the manager has ready access to the footage the night of Skylar's disappearance.
I'm scrolling through the footage. I see that car go past the Sheetz at 12:30. A 4-door sedan, silver in color, and then 12:39, Exact same car goes past the Sheets camera. And I said, Chris, look at this.
Hey, Barry.
And I went, are you kidding me? I looked at Ronnie and said, I'll be damned, that was it.
Oh, that's it.
That's the car.
Video from a convenience store in Star City, West Virginia provides a breakthrough in the hunt for missing schoolgirl Skylar Neese. Star City police detectives spot a car matching the one seen at the Neese's apartment at 12:30 on July 6th, the night Skylar disappeared.
All right. Look which way it's going. I said, yeah, it's going towards the apartments.
That's it.
Just 9 minutes later, the exact same car drives past the Sheets convenience store camera in the opposite direction, towards Blacksville. The shape and color match the one that picked Skylar up. Could this be the car? Detectives cross-reference the time the car is first seen with the time that Skylar snuck out.
Just look what time it is. It was 5 minutes or less before the car pulled in the apartment. I couldn't believe it. The times that we had matched up, the car goes right by.
Oh, that's it. That's the one.
The evidence backs up what detectives already thought. Skylar must have snuck out to go to a party. The video also gives them more images of the mystery vehicle.
It's definitely more clear in the Sheets video. Still couldn't get a license plate, so we still didn't know who it was, but we had a better description of the vehicle.
Detectives must catch up with this car, or the case goes cold. They mine every frame of the surveillance, looking for more clues.
It could be a Mazda, it could be a Mitsubishi, it could be a Honda. There's millions of cars that all look the same. It's hard to differentiate between each vehicle. So it was so many endless possibilities.
Let's not count that one out. Just hang on. Stop. Pause that.
I was obsessed with it because, to me, this was bad guys were winning. We got into an unmarked vehicle. We drove out Blacksville at midnight. We went to every back road you could figure, pull up the driveways real quick, look at the vehicle. If we found a vehicle we thought matched, we'd take a quick picture of it and back out, get the license plate number, figure out who they were, who was driving that vehicle, who in the vehicle.
They'll take the shots back to HQ and run each plate looking for some link. Meanwhile, as the last people to have seen Skylar, Sheila and Rachel are pressed by Detective Colbank for every detail of their late-night joyride. Both deny they went to any party in Blacksville the night of the disappearance. Both say the car in the video isn't theirs. The detective will take each out in her cruiser, retracing their journey, step by step, starting with Sheila.
Let's go for a ride. Just show me where you went. That way I have a better idea of where to look here. So she got in the car and we drove around on the side streets. And she was sure this is the route that they took.
It's time to compare Sheila's story to Skylar's other best friend. Surely Rachel's story will match.
We interviewed Rachel after that, and her portion of that story was completely different.
Where did you guys go that night?
Rachel's story said they went the opposite direction. They went the main thorough through Star City. It was exciting and mind-boggling. It like, okay, where do I go from here? You just gave me something. Now I need to use it.
Detective Colbank reminds Rachel that her story has witnesses she might not have considered.
Well, there's plenty of businesses where you said you went. They all have cameras. So we'll see you driving by. You could see the panic in Rachel's face. She had a ghost look on her face. Her eyes were big. It was kind of a blank stare, like, oh God, what do I do now? What do I say? Her response was, well, I was really high, so maybe not. Because they had smoked marijuana.
That's it. You're telling me the truth.
Yeah.
You're sure?
If the girls are witnesses, one thing's for sure. Best case, they're unreliable. Up to now, Sheila has been the family's biggest help, and police have taken her at her word, trusting her version of when and where she dropped Skylar off. Now, everything Sheila's told them must be verified. Detectives revisit the security video at the Neese's apartment to see if Sheila's car arrives when she said. They watch the video from the very first frame to the last.
We had 4 hours of it. I don't care if I got to sit there the whole time. I never saw Sheila's car come. Watching it from that video from the beginning to the end, earlier that evening where Sheila said that she picked up Skylar and where at and how, never did happen. The time was completely off from what she said.
The way the cameras are angled, you can see any car that goes down that street. They may not stop in camera view, but you can see cars when they drive through. So you see headlights. There were no headlights.
It appears Skylar's friends never picked her up or dropped her off, at least not when they say they did. In fact, the surveillance shows Skylar left her apartment only once at 12:30 and never came back. Somebody's lying to the police about the timeline of that night. Could the girls also be lying when they swear the car in the video isn't theirs? After all, Sheila owns a car that can't be ruled out.
Sheila owns and drives a 2006 Toyota Camry, and it's silver in color. The colors match. It's 4-door. The time frame's good.
Oh my God.
It's in that general area where Skylar lives, so we were confident that was Sheila's car.
But there are thousands of similar cars in the area. Sheila sticks to her story. The car in the video isn't hers. It's not enough to arrest anybody. Sheila and Rachel are Skylar's best friends. Only hard evidence can make them suspects now. Cops run Sheila and Rachel's cell phone records. What they're about to learn will blow the lid off the case.
That's when we discovered Rachel and Sheila's cell phones were very active after 4 in the morning on July 6, 2012 in Blacksville, West Virginia.
But Rachel had denied being in Blacksville that night. Another lie.
Once we had all the video evidence and the cell phone records, that's when their stories started to crumble. And in one of her interviews, Sheila finally admitted that it was her car in the video.
Police have spent the last 2 months hunting down a mystery vehicle. It turns out the owner was right under their nose all along. Police have the teens cornered, and it's time to nail them down about where they actually went that night.
Rachel told us, we went out to Blacksville, we smoked pot. Skylar wanted to go to a friend's house so they can get more marijuana. Her and Sheila did not want to go, so they agreed to drop Skylar off at the friend's house. Someone lets her in the house when they leave. When we finished the interview with Rachel, we immediately interviewed Sheila. She admits, we went out to Blacksville, we smoked pot, and Skylar gets mad at us because we won't go to a friend's house to buy marijuana. And she leaves and we can't find her.
Once again, the girls' stories don't match.
The very next day, Sheila discovers Rachel told us that they dropped Skylar off at a friend's house, and Sheila knew that she had told us something different. Now the stories are matching up. Okay, we did drop her off at the friend's house in Blacksville.
Hey, how's it going? Good.
They are lying through their teeth.
As police ratchet up the pressure on Sheila and Rachel, at school, word spreads like wildfire that the girls are holding back information about Skylar's whereabouts.
So you see them, crying and comforting each other. And, it raises a little bit of attention.
It got to Rachel first. She got more aggressive towards her friends, mean towards family.
And one day, in December 2012, she finally snaps. Rachel's mother calls the police concerned about her daughter's behavior. She's admitted into a psychiatric hospital. 6 days later, she's discharged and voluntarily goes to the police.
She had something to tell us. And I'm expecting her to tell me that there was a party that night. Skylar overdosed. We panicked. And we helped dispose of her body. That's what I was expecting Rachel to tell me.
But investigators are not prepared for the story they are about to hear. It's far more twisted than they have ever imagined. 5 months since Skylar Neese disappeared. Security camera footage helps police learn her best friends are hiding something. But what police are about to hear leaves them completely aghast.
First words out of her mouth were,
We stabbed her.
We stabbed her. We were speechless at that point. That's something we were not expecting to hear, that her and Sheila stabbed Skylar to death. Well, let's start over again, okay? Let's start over and tell us exactly what happened. July 5th, 2012, Sheila picked up Rachel, drove to Rachel's father's house. She gets a shovel, puts it in the trunk. The girls brought a change of clothes, clean clothes that they kept in the trunk. She also brought some cleaning supplies. Sheila brings the knives. Rachel calls Skylar that 12:15 phone call. Hey, we're on our way to pick you up. Be waiting for us. They picked up Skylar,
Come on.
drove out to Greene County, Pennsylvania, pulled the car over in a rural, quiet area. They all three got out of the vehicle and were walking away from the car. And Skylar was on her way back to the car to get like a lighter.
Go later. Now.
At the agreed upon moment, Rachel said, I counted to 3.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
And at one point, Skylar looked up and asked him, why are you doing this? Why? Skylar got the knife from Rachel at one point and stabbed Rachel in the leg with it. At that point, Rachel said she discontinued the attack, but Sheila kept going. And Sheila said after 50 stabs, she quit counting.
Once she was dead, they tried to bury a grave. They could not create a grave big enough because of the rocks and the earth was too hard. So they drug her body approximately 44 feet or so from the roadway edge. They covered it up with branches and dirt, leaves. And then they changed out their bloody clothes, put the bags in the trunk of the car along with the knives. And they both got in the vehicle and left her there.
Skylar's body lies undiscovered for 6 months until it is finally found on January 16th, 2013.
Why would 2 16-year-old girls just plan out a sinister, meticulous, premeditated murder of their best friend? What are you dealing with? I had asked her, why did you and Sheila kill Skylar? And Rachel's only answer was, we didn't like her.
Didn't like her. That's all. It leaves room only for more rumors that Skylar's best friends were damaged by drugs, that they were secretly lovers, or they were just plain evil.
That's one of those things where I don't think we'll ever know why they did it. There's only 2 people that will be able to tell us, and how are we going to even know if they're going to tell us the truth or not? They've lied so much.
This is my personal opinion on this. It was a thrill kill to me.
We knew at that point that she was indeed gone and wasn't coming home. You know, that was a fact. It was just so devastating and hard to believe. You know, how could her 2 best friends do that to her and go all that time swearing they had no idea? We're never going to get over it. We just got to get stronger. We got to get tougher.
Sheila Eddy is sentenced to life in prison for first-degree murder. Rachel Schultz's confession reduces her sentence to 30 years. But the killers have never elaborated on their motive. For Skylar's parents, their daughter's last word, why, is never answered. 2 fleeting glimpses of a car were enough for police to crack the case.
Without those video surveillances, we would have had nothing to go off of other than just